One practice actually I haven't mentioned, which is something like what we do at Master Stage, which is the spiritual walk, the spiritual walk, is one of the greatest. When we talk about energy healing and consciousness, one thing that awoken me a lot, very, very fast paced, was
on few occasions, it appears like you can read thoughts. So do you like pick up on like voices or images of other people's thoughts?
it's, conscious and being able, like, how many of you, when we did some of the healing or one-to-ones, I read something about you that I didn't know about you. Was a few of you, right? Different situations, and I read some characters and personalities, right? It's not as magical. I would love to make it sound really, really magical, and oh wow, this the thing comes in through me, and I'm just like, wow. but actually that's not how it is. How it is probably very similar to how you have a feeling for things. The only difference is most people are confused, right? You've had times before where you've seen a person, you read their personality, you speak to them, that's the personality. You've had that before. All of you have had that before. Okay? You've also had before times where you read the personality, you thought they were that type, you spoke to them and they weren't that type at all. You all had that too. Okay? What does that mean? It means most people are confused. Yeah? They're confused between these two things, which now then goes back to exactly what I was speaking about before. When we become more aware of what that thing is and the difference between that thing and this thing, right? Now all I'm doing is very simple. I'm only recognizing that thing. But how it looks and feels is exactly what you've experienced before. So it's not so glamorous, not so magical. It's literally, I just look and I know.
It's really interesting because I guess when I was at the Manifesting Miracles, it's almost like I felt like maybe it was the divine in you or something, but I was thinking something in my head and you literally just like looked over right at me and it's like weird. I was like, oh my gosh, did you just hear what I just did in my own head? And then like when you would like talk to each person and then like it was really random, but you're like, oh, you just gotta like spread joy and happiness and love, and you look straight at me. I'm just like, what the heck is going on here? Like something crazy. And then there was this other incident where like I guess someone was thinking something in their head and you're like, who just thought of this? And then like I was just like, oh my gosh, like are you like picking up on that or like what's going on?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes, but at the same time, it's not so magical. It's the same way you would pick up, like I said, right? If you are going to speak on about joy and happiness, let me ask you a question. You have one person sat next to me like this. You have one person like this. Who do you look at? It's nothing magical. You see? It just is what it is, it's that simple, But like I said, the only difference is most people, they're confused, that's all. One practice actually I haven't mentioned, which is something like what we do at Master Stage, which is the spiritual walk, the spiritual walk, is one of the greatest. When we talk about energy healing and consciousness, one thing that awoken me a lot, very, very fast paced, was fire walking. And not the Tony Robbins one stretch fire. That is just a practice of overcoming fear. It doesn't give you any, it's not a connection thing. But what we do, for example, when we were out in India, Rebecca experienced it as well, is that we set a fire and we walk for 45 minutes on the fire, 1,700 degrees. So no science can define why we can be safe doing that, you know. But you have to be channeling that energy, that greater energy, to be able to be okay. And some people were also fire standing. I think you did a bit of fire standing as well. 1,700 degrees standing there not moving is a big deal, you know. Physical cannot handle that. Just physical alone cannot handle that. Spiritual energy can handle that. Yeah, so that's a very, very, very powerful practice in understanding energy, your energy. And you kind of you can't at the same time, we don't pressure you to do it, but at the same time you feel pressure to learn, because there's usually we have like 15, 20 people, and we walk non-stop on the fire. Some people who really can't, they'll sit on the side because they get freaked out by the idea of it, you know, which is fine. Some people, they really want to know. So the process of really wanting to know, the fire will speak to you, meaning that you will have some reactions on your feet. That is the process of finding out. And so you may be walking a little interesting the next day. For some people there's nothing at all. Some people, they'll be walking a little interesting the next day. However, they got everything, their understanding about that energy on a much, much deeper level. Yeah. It's the most powerful thing. Like, I can ask a question in my life, I ask the fire is my teacher, that's the thing. It'll just give me all the answers. It's all nature. You know, it's a very powerful energy. Deep breath in.